Lawyers, don't get caught naked without professional liability, office business insurance with data breach, and workers' comp. Here's Michael.
The Grisly Gremlins of insurance exclusions. I know it's hard to believe that insurance companies have exclusions in their policies for you. Yeah, right. All kidding aside, there are some major exclusions lawyers face daily that you really want to plug this what could be fatal gap in your protection. For example, number one, harassment. This could be internally or externally. For example, let's start internally. You've got a young rainmaker lawyer in your office. He's a healthy, red-blooded male. He wants a date with a paralegal. He's aggressive, but not necessarily over the top. The paralegal may complain, she may not. She ends up quitting, maybe you fire her because her performance isn't that good, but the next thing you know, you're being served with a suit. That's excluded. It could be externally. You could have a client come in and you've got a very attractive, again, paralegal or receptionist. He comes in, he's fresh with her. He maybe is over the top, but she feels uncomfortable, yet she doesn't want to complain because you could lose the client. What have you, again, you terminate her due to cause, or she quits or gets another job. You'd be surprised, you'd be served with a suit. Number two, unfair termination or hiring procedures, which is very simply, you fire someone, you have every right to fire them. They're not doing a good job, but they come back and they say it's because of their gender, or their ethnicity, or their age, or their weight. Again, that's excluded if you don't have this valuable protection. Or during your hiring procedures. For example, you don't hire someone and they come back and say, you didn't hire me or you didn't hire me because I'm a female or I'm of a certain ethnic group or my age or what have you. Again, excluded. Discrimination, that again can be internally or externally. Let's start internally. You've got a couple of staff who are telling jokes that are inappropriate and they don't realize that someone is of a certain religious faith and because their last name is traditionally, for example, and that could be a big one there. That you will get served with a suit. They potentially quit or you terminate them and boom, here comes the suit. Externally, it could be the same thing. A big client comes in, starts telling, off-color jokes, doesn't mean anything by it, just kind of, it's inappropriate, it's unacceptable. Again, this employee of yours quits or gets fired and boom, you're served with a suit. The last two, number four, flood. Flood is obviously subsurface water. You get a river cresting, a lake cresting, the streets overflow and it comes in and it destroys all your property. That's excluded. And last but not least, number five is earthquake. Obviously, if you live in a certain part of the country where an earthquake happens, you don't have this addendum or this extra endorsement on your policy, you would have no coverage there. Certainly, some regions of the country have no earthquake or flood exposure, yet it is the sexual harassment, unfair termination, and discrimination that can put you out of business and most law firms face daily. If you face this massive risk, which most of you would want what is known as EPLI as the acronym, and that stands for Employment Practices Liability Insurance, which averages around $1,000 annually. And if you do not currently have this protection and yet have the exposure, which most of you would, then fire your fat cat, lazy insurance agent or broker and go with a specialist who knows the massive risks lawyers face daily.